too. It's your boy Ghost. I'm coming to you from my whip. I'm headed to go get some food. But I'm dropping this video to speak on, 7 years in this game, my trials and tribulations. But this one is called The Downfall of Still Hawgin. This basically was 2015. I'm gonna shorten it up because I don't want to, go on a long tangent about everything because it's pretty intense. But basically, me and a lot of it had to do with my relationship with my ex-wife. Just things weren't working out with us. We just, we were on two different frequencies in life, and we realized that, and it had taken a toll, on our relationship, on our personal life, on our finances, on our business, just everything as a whole. It just, it took a huge toll on us. And we sat down and had like a deep conversation about everything. And we came to the conclusion that it would be best that, we went our separate ways. Or at least we took a break. Because at first it started off as, we were going to separate. So then we had the issue of we have all this stuff tied into, everything. We had businesses, we had cars, we had everything. And one thing that I did do was I made a promise to her mom that I would basically make sure she didn't want for anything no matter what happened in our relationship, because she was by herself. And her dad, he was half-assed. He was in her life, but he wasn't, because, her mom wore the pants, so he basically just, we're not really going to speak on him. So, with that being said, it just sucked that with her mom passing, and then it really took a mental toll on her. She couldn't handle it, so, we both agreed that it would be best that, we split, because she wanted to live a certain lifestyle in a certain way. And like I told myself, I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with it because, that's not what she brought into the relationship. And for her to just up and want to change it up all of a sudden and, act a certain way, start smoking weed and, doing all the stuff that you do when you're young, I couldn't get down with that because, I was in the midst of building this company and building this business up. So, as two adults, we both agreed that it would be best that we split. When it came to Snyder, I had to turn the truck in because we both had put the truck in our names. I had a CDL, she had a CDL as well. She never drove, but she got a CDL, Cali hookups. So we had both put it in our names because our plan was to pull it off of Snyder and put it under this authority that we had established, and to go from there and to build a fleet, and then with her, having a CDL and being at home, after about 2 years, 3 years, we could be like, hey, she's got 2 years experience, so then she could go out, she could get trucks, she can get whatever she wanted, so we could really grow this company like the way that we had worked together to do it. So we ended up having to turn the Snyder truck in, and I ended up going to work for my homeboy's, his dad's broker slash like family friend slash he had a fleet. So I went and rode with him for a little bit, like I would say like 30 days, but this dude wanted me to, because we were on paper back then, he wanted me to run illegal and just do all this hood rat shit for pennies. And I was like, I'm not about to do that. I'm not getting down like that, especially after going from, being a owner-operator to now I gotta be a company dude with this company that's half-assed and stuff. So I remember talking to Cass about it, and Cass was just like, oh, well, I'll give you a truck and blah, blah, blah. So I ended up leaving that dude, and I ended up getting a plane ticket, flying out to, I think I met him in Atlanta. He picked me up in ATL and from there, we went to Ohio, and I jumped in this green truck, thinking that, the truck was going to be A1, but the truck, it ended up catching on fire, and I ended up getting stuck in New York for like, I would say damn near a week. Well, I was going a month, but I was in New York for a straight week, and I ended up having to call my ex-wife, because back then, like, we were going through everything that we were going through, and all my money was tied up. Everything was just basically on frozen mode for me. I couldn't buy nothing, do nothing, anything, which I'm gonna get into why all that it came about. And I called her, and I was just like, hey, this is the situation, blah blah blah. And I'm like, hey, is there any way can you give me a ticket, fly me home, because I ain't got no bread, and the cash that I got I'm running low on. And she was like, you know what, yeah, I'll do it, and when you get here, we gonna have a sit down and talk. So she got me home, came home, and while I was on the truck, I was in like this little rental truck, because I still delivered the load that they had booked for me. I started filling out all these applications and stuff, because I was just like, that's it. After this truck, that's it. I'm out of options. Might as well go back company. So I got home, and she actually ended up coming over. And because back then, when we had split, we were in the process of going through escrow to get a house, and we actually were getting a house in our business name. So we were going through the process of doing all that, and at the same time, we had went through some financial issues with like her mom passing, because mind you, I lived in my home, plus I was also taking care of their home as well, and their mortgage was like damn near $2,500, and then my rent was like, at the time, I think it was like 15 or something like that for where we lived at. So I had a lot of money coming out back then, just trying to keep her parents' home afloat and everything going. So I took out this big ass loan, because I got her mom's house like fixed to where it could accommodate her mom, because her mom was like bedridden and everything else. So I got it set up to where she'll be straight, thinking that she was preserving life, but we didn't know she was gonna pass away suddenly. So after she passed, things just took a turn for the worse. And then that's when, I took out a big ass loan to basically cover all the expenses in her home. It was a lot. So it got to a point where me and my ex-wife had sat down, and we were like, well, the best bet for us to do is to file bankruptcy. We filed bankruptcy. We still got business credit. We can still get this house. Everything can still move the way that it's going to move. So we talked to our attorney, and then he basically advised us on what to do. We talked to our homeboy that was letting us piggyback off of his business credit. He told us how to do it, how to successfully bounce back from it after. So we went through with it. So I didn't have no personal credit cards. I didn't have shit. Like, it was bad. I never filed bankruptcy again, because it was like the worst of the worst. And then it was like I made some dumbass choices like way back when, and I put my bike up on a title loan, but I got the bike back, because it's California, we got plugs and we got hookups. So I ended up getting the bike back after the bankruptcy and all that it cleared. I got my bike back, and I had my bike. I had an old ass pickup truck that my uncle had let me use, and then I had a grill, a mattress, and a fridge when I moved into this house. I didn't have nothing in there. I mean, it was crazy. And I told myself when I got back after the whole situation with the truck catching on fire, I'm sitting in this empty house, and I sat down and I actually prayed to God, and I told him, like, just show me the way, because I'm all out of options. I'm all out of everything. I'm like, I have a home with no wife. I don't got nothing. So I'm like, please, if you can just just order my steps. So and I just left it at that. And I was sitting in the house, and I get a phone call from UPS telling me, hey, they got a company position available. Come in for an interview. I kid you not, it was like I made that prayer, and it was like the next day, I'm sitting up there making some breakfast, and I get that phone call. And then it was like my ex-wife had came over. We had like a good talk, and she basically told me, like, you know, she had made up her mind that she's not coming back. Mind you, I'd already had the house. I had started the process of getting the backyard done and all of that. So I was hurt. Then at the same time, I was like, fuck, I did all this thinking that, you know, she was going to come back, and she didn't. So, you know, that right there was just like a gut-wrenching just hit to the gut. But like I told myself, I mean, it's God's plan. And after all was said and done, I mean, I started with UPS, and started working company there, I think in October of 2015. And I mean, like I told myself, I sat down, I wrote out a goal list of everything that I wanted. I told myself I wanted a truck, and I was gonna get a truck, and this is how I was gonna get it, and I was gonna focus, work my ass off, and get my truck, and I was gonna have to rebuild. So after each check that I got, I started, you know, putting stuff in the house, furnishing it. I had met Boss Lady at my uncle's funeral because he had passed away too that year, and me and her were dating and talking at the time, and you know, just I wanted somebody that, you know, just kept me company throughout the bullshit. So that's how she came into the picture. And I was going through the whole divorce process with California. It takes damn near 6 months to get divorced from somebody. But it ended up taking me a year because me being on the road, you know, it's hard because I had to file everything myself. It was pretty simple. She basically didn't put up too big of a fight because I gave her everything. Just to keep her from trying to fight for stuff. So I gave her stuff, and, you know, everything, you know, was peaches and cream with, you know, me and her. I just realized, like, you know, everybody has different paths in life, and she chose to go down the path she chose to go down, and I had to do nothing but respect it. Now that I'm older and the situation's been about 4 years, I can look back on it and smile because, you know, I lost everything back then. I even went through a bankruptcy, and it was God that basically just kept me motivated and kept me focused to get me to where I'm at now. I mean, I got this Ram, I got a bunch of cars, got an i8, I got 4 trucks. So it's like, people think like it's the end of the world when, you know, you lose everything or you got to go through a bankruptcy, but you don't. You just got to stay focused and, you know, trust the process. It's going to be rough at times and you're going to hate it, but at the end of the day, as long as you keep God first and you stay motivated and don't veer off on the wrong direction or pay attention to the hate and everything else, you'll be good. So, with that being said, you know, stay tuned to the next video. It's going to be called The Rise of Still Hawgin. I'm going to basically talk about, you know, how I rebuilt everything and came back up to where I'm at now. So, love, peace, prosperity, and I will catch you on the next video. Deuces.